My concern with you guys is with regard to the governor, because there are some who would say he can be bullheaded and stubborn, and that he's not going to have a very friendly legislature. And there's a lot of worry that not much will get done because y'all will be knocking heads the whole session that begins in March. How do we get beyond that and get things accomplished that need to be done?
Absolutely, and I think that's a big concern for a lot of people, and it certainly is a concern of mine. I think that we've got to put forth pro-growth legislation and put the burden on the governor to see if he's willing to sign the legislation that will put forth pro-growth message that will bring jobs, will bring opportunities back to Louisiana, that will bring higher wages to Louisiana. I'm not in favor of a minimum wage, but I'm in favor of wages going up in our state. And I think it's important that we put forth legislation that creates a competitive market so that we can bring more jobs and more opportunities that will raise wages for the average person. But my view is that we have to pass legislation both in the House and the Senate, put it on the governor's desk, and see what happens. And if he's not willing to sign that legislation, see if we can get the override with 2/3. We have the 2/3 in the Senate if we can stick together as a Republican Party, and we're too shy in the House. Hopefully, we can work with some partners on the Democratic side to be able to bring forth legislation that'll make a difference for people and small business owners and individuals in our state.
I would imagine that politically speaking, you and State Representative Cedric Glover don't see eye to eye on much. But one of the areas where you may is that Cedric has said on a number of occasions in the state legislature in Louisiana, there's not only Democrat and Republican, but there's North and South. Are you concerned, as is Representative Glover, that there is, I don't want to say power grab, but that the geographical differences, they want what we got, that not only will you have to fight, to some degree, Democrats in the legislature, but maybe even some Republicans from another part of the state?
I think it's important that our delegation sticks together. When you're talking about I-49, the intercity connector, when you're talking about the med center, when you're talking about health and hospitals up here and having a state hospital with LSU and University Health, and now, which is now Oshner, of course, it's important that we stick together and talk about those priorities with all of our friends throughout the state. But I know that, working with Tammy Phelps, who's the new District 3 representative, working with Cedric Glover, working with Sam Jenkins, we can work together on issues that are important to our entire region. Mm-hmm. And I think that there is a good group that wants to have conversations across political aisles from our region. I'm very excited about the delegation for Northwest Louisiana.
The exit of Dr. Rebecca Gee and now Education Secretary John White leave two big holes. What is your message to the governor today about who he should look for to fill those two key spots in our government?
Yeah, absolutely. I think John White's done a great job as Secretary of Education on the state level, and the Bessie board obviously has a lot of knowledge in helping to move the state to the right person on that appointment. But I think if we can have someone that's pro-choice, that's pro school choice, that is, for schools, and having individuals be able to select a school and their parents select the right school for them, I think that's important. On Dr. Gee's side, I think we need someone that's pro-life. We are a pro-life state. I think we need someone that understands the complexities of our region. Northwest Louisiana, obviously, there's two state hospitals with Shreveport and New Orleans. We need someone that is committed to keeping the med school in Shreveport and the public hospital here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Last one.
Okay. The concern for me is nobody knows what our budget is until it's too late.
Sure.
Until we either have a fiscal cliff or we have a surplus.
Once again, please.
Cliff.
Thank you.
What is the answer to that, Thomas? And I know you're going to be a new lawmaker. You're not. You're going to be one of the rookies. But I'm so tired of every year nobody can tell me, what's in the budget, how much money we have.
I think that we need to, when we're talking the the fiscal side of things, we should be budgeting for 97% of our expected income from the state. I mean, when you and I are doing our household budgets, we're not looking at every dollar. We're looking at putting some of that money in savings. And I would much rather be on the positive side and having more money for use down the road, particularly these big projects, one-time use dollars if we're there, than having a fiscal cliff where we have to raise taxes and put more burden on job opportunities and the small business owners and the individuals that are paying taxes. That's a challenge, and that's part of the reason that we're seeing more people move to states like Texas and North Carolina that have figured out the budget side of things.
With the majority of both houses being Republican now, is there a chance that when that revenue estimating committee gets together, 4 times a year, whatever it happens to be, that maybe whatever number they come up with, that they'll actually lop about 10% off of it and shoot at that rather than spending every single dollar that they think will come into the state?
That's certainly the hope. That we can budget to a level that is reasonable and that we are positive that we'll have that money. And then if we have additional dollars, we either give it back to the taxpayers or we do something and put it into one-time use.